It's Monday, December 9th, and you're listening to the Geek at Geek News Central, the longest continuous running tech podcast. This is show number 911, sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com. This month's special, GoDaddy Website Builder, makes it easy to create your own website, put your business online, and find new customers. Choose from hundreds of customizable designs, and you're on your way. Website Builder even includes a free domain name with hosting and 24/7 support. It's go time with GoDaddy.com. Enter promo code WSB5 and get Website Builder for just $1 a month. Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Everyone, wait till the show. Great show for you. I'm still fighting the crud. We're going to manage through, see if the voice holds out. You know what comes next? Strap in. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right, I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There's no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Showtime.
Aloha and welcome to the Geek News Central podcast, coming to you as live as it can be from the beautiful state of Hawaii via the Geek News Central studio overlooking Greater Honolulu. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Of course, my name is Todd Cochran, and I tell you, it's been an interesting few days because the last time we were together, I had the onset of the crud. Been going through it all weekend, and then I figured, maybe by Monday it'll be over. But really, kind of what happened was it just settled in. And my son's crud, which I got from him, lasted 7 to 10 days. So I think I've got a few more days of it. Things are starting to kind of, propagate, I guess, for a better word, which is good and bad. Probably bad when you're trying to do a show and keep your nose from running and everything else that goes along with that. But I apologize for in advance. I don't want to cough on you. If I do, again, apologies in advance. Hey, of course, I want to welcome all of the longtime listeners and viewers of the show. Thanks for being here. And if you're new to the show, thanks for checking us out for the very first time. We want to make sure that you get all the details on how to stay connected with the show. It's real easy. Go over to geeknewscentral.com. You'll find data there on the website, some links in order to get subscribed. You want to subscribe to all our shows, The Gadget Professor, the Robot Underpants, our special media feed, new media show, and, of course, this show, Geek News Central, which is produced every Monday and Thursday. And, of course, we have a newsletter as well. You'll find that up there, top right-hand corner of the website. Get subscribed to the newsletter, and you'll get the show notes, everything I'm going to talk about tonight, delivered to your inbox immediately following the show. If you don't like being on an email list, go over to GNC Show Notes, GNCShowNotes.com, /911, and you'll find all today's links and listings. Well, I tell you, the Tech Podcast Network continues to grow, and we're a proud member of that network, and all family-safe shows, so definitely take some time to go over the network and check it out. You can watch or listen to the show as well on the Roku, Boxy, Samsung Smart TV, Google TV, Chromecast, really any place there's a set-top box. We've got a channel, so definitely look for the Tech Podcast channel on those devices to watch or listen to the show. Of course, you can reach out to me real easy at Geek News on Twitter. You can also email me here directly, geeknews@gmail.com. You'll find the link to our Google Plus and Facebook page on the show notes. We hope that you'll follow us. And if you're an insider, you've probably already gotten an invite to the insider page. And if you haven't, make sure you send an email over to sam@geeknewscentral.com. Well, we're up streaming live on YouTube tonight, so back in action there from last week when we really didn't have time on the last show, when I was basically had an hour just to get in and get out. And we did record time, 49-minute show last time. So we're talking a little bit about it on the Insider channel. And if you guys have feedback on the previous show, love to hear about it as well. Well, as we progress here in tonight's podcast, I have a whole bunch of stuff to share with you. We'll get into a few of those notes here in just a minute. I was looking tonight on the GoDaddy website, and the 35% off code, as of my last check, is still alive. It's supposed to expire now. It's supposed to be gone. Maybe another hour. I don't know. We'll see. But this 35% off code is just about ready to expire. Sometimes I forget to shut it off. So keep an eye on it, and we'll be changing out the banner on the website as soon as it goes dead. But the 35% code is still good at this very, very moment. But our main deals that we'll have for December is the $1.99 economy hosting for 12 months with a free domain name by using the promo code HOSTOFF3. You, along with the 30% off your order by using 30deal3. And, of course, we've got the WSB5 promo, which is the website builder, where you get just for $1 a month plus a free domain, you get website builder. So lots of codes for you to use. They're all on the geeknewscentral.com /GoDaddy page. So definitely get over there and check out all the codes. And if you forget that, it's real easy. Once you get over to the website at geeknewscentral.com, you scroll down the site, and you're going to find a link for the GoDaddy promo codes. So one thing I want to bring to your attention, and those of you that are watching the video, there's a new place on the GoDaddy website to enter the promo code, and it bothers me just a little bit because it's kind of like below the fold. You have to scroll down. So if you look on the geeknewscentral.com /GoDaddy page, you'll find the image that I have up where I show arrows on where you click to enter a promo code. So if you're over there at GoDaddy and you haven't locked in a code, please do that. That's the best way to really save money. Of course, clicking the links directly on geeknewscentral.com is probably the fastest, but sometimes you want to mix and match the codes, so we definitely want you to take advantage of that as you can. So I want to thank GoDaddy for being a sponsor here. Definitely check them out. Geek News Central runs on a GoDaddy server. It's been purring away, knock on wood, for a number of years. And so far, so good. No complaints on my part. But definitely check out all the GoDaddy services, products, domains, hosting accounts, and so forth at GoDaddy.com. All right, moving on here. As I said, fighting the crud, boy, I tell you, it just sucks. But I'm hoping one of the guys at the part of the CES team said, Todd, maybe you'll be over it. But they bring in so many weird bugs into CES from people coming in from all over the world. I don't think this is just a one-shot deal. It'd be nice if it is, and I'll have it all behind me by the time it's time to pack up and go to Vegas. But this thing is one of those hanger-on type things. It lasts a little while, so we'll keep our fingers crossed here that it abides. Got my ears lowered today for those of you watching, so I like my nice stylistic Marine Corps zero skin cut. And part of it was I had to look good for the missus. She comes home tomorrow, so I pick her up at the airport very, very early in the morning, flying in from Tokyo. She's been in mainland Japan for past 4 or 5 days with her sister, hanging out with some family members and stuff. She went to a karate tournament, did some shopping, so it should be great. She's been texting me online, telling me her adventures and sending me pictures, but we're glad to have her back here at the home as we prepare for the full-on Christmas holiday. And I guess I should at this time really kind of extend all of you guys a Merry Christmas. And we've got really 14 or 15 days. I guess, what is it? Today's the 9th. So really not that long before before Christmas is upon us. But going to keep cranking out shows here right up until the Christmas holiday. So this past Saturday, I decided not to do a new media show. Rob had to be off. I just basically felt like absolute dog crap. So basically the two guests that I had arranged, I basically kind of told them, hey, I'm not going to do the show, and just canceled it. I thought it was better to do that than to fight through. So there'll be Rob's already got a guest scheduled for this upcoming Saturday. So it should be fine. We should be back on schedule this coming Saturday with the next episode of the New Media Show. But don't forget, we've got lots of great shows on the network at Geek Tech Podcast, and here, of course, at Geek News Central. All right, so last couple of things. Google Glass. I just got 3 more invites. Okay? And this is easy peasy. If you want to get Google Glass, if you missed out on the first round, send Sam an email, insider@geeknewscentral.com. Just go on the list. Say, I want Google Glass. And tell me why. Real short and sweet. And what we'll do is we're going to randomly pick from how many entries we get. So this is really kind of free and open season here for Google Glass. 3 invites. I'm going to give them away probably, let's see, they gave me a time limit on when I had to send the claims in, because basically they put you on the clock. And let me open this up and see exactly, while it's doing that, let's see here, let me look at the email, bada bing, bada boom, and of course, it doesn't want to act fast. Let me look here, did it give me a time? I should have had it preloaded, but I didn't. And that was my problem. So we'll wait for the email to load here. I've been working in the web interface all day, and then I keep that closed during the show because Hangouts pop up and ding into the show, and I don't want that distraction. But it'll be up in a second. I'll get into that. So last thing here before we punch into the regular content, our crowdfunding is ending soon. I think we got 6 days to go. So please consider becoming one of our crowdfunder supporters for CES. We got some really cool T-shirts you're going to get for a minimum contribution of $25, and you'll be one of our backers. And if depending on the level you pick, we might get some recognition and some airtime at CES. Also, don't forget, if you contribute a minimum of $100 and you're a listener of this show, we're going to give you $500 of free advertising on this podcast right here. So consider doing that as well. Okay, let's see if email got loaded. It did. Let me ping here. All right, so I've got 2 weeks, but 2 weeks puts me into Christmas. So I figured what we'll do is if usually they've been pretty fast, 2 or 3 days turnaround period. So if you're looking for the absolute most fantastic Christmas present, send that email, and we will announce the selectees on the 16th, meaning you'll be able to order on the 17th, and I think you'll be able to get them maybe before Christmas or right there around, or maybe you can do a printout if they don't come, but send your emails now. Let me know, insider@geeknewscentral.com. Send that to Sam. He'll collect the names, submit them to me, and we'll announce a winner here. Okay, so let's go ahead here and let's see, what have I got in my stack? Is that it? And of course, my nose, it hasn't been running for the past 2 or 3 hours. And as soon as I start the show, bam, it hits me. And, one thing I'm going to share with you guys. I took a risk. I've got a Canon. This camera I've had now for maybe a year and a half or 2 years. It's the Canon Vixia HF G10. And for those of you listening, it's a very popular camera. This thing is, if you're wanting to do some pro video with a consumer camera, this is the one, this G10. And don't mistake it with the G20. The G20 is not as nice. So it's the G10, HF G10. And all this time, I've been running on the small Canon batteries. And they give me about, maybe 60, 70 minutes of running time. And because oftentimes when I use this, I had a power source. Well, this year in Vegas, to save a little money, I'm not renting an extra JVC. We're going to be using a Canon G10. And I know Don, the Gadget Professor, has a couple of these, so they're going to be bringing them. We'll have them on a tripod. But I needed some extended life batteries with this. And the ones from Canon run, probably $130, $140 each. And really trying to watch the budget here on buying stuff. And I spent probably an hour doing, because when it comes to batteries, oftentimes you can buy aftermarket batteries much cheaper but you get them and then they don't last that long, or they cause a problem. And with the Canons, the batteries are smart batteries, and they've got a brain in them, something to do it. Basically communicates with it, tells it how long's left on the battery, and so forth. So most of the batteries I was reading about basically said it didn't update the time. So, but a company called Wasabi, Wasabi, Wasabi Power, creates batteries, a lot of aftermarket batteries, and the one that I kept reading about that everyone was raving about was a $39 battery I found on Amazon, got it shipped on Prime. I actually got two batteries and a charger deal for $80. And so the battery came in just this afternoon. And so I charged the battery, and lo and behold, as soon as I started the camera up, it's 351 minutes is what the time is on the from the battery. And this to me was like, yes, because what's really going to happen here now is I'll go buy a couple more of these, and the test I do on these is I let it run and just see how it does on the clock, if it'll actually last the amount of time it says it does. And I know there's going to be some differentiation between that as we go, but it's going to be really cool to see how well this battery actually performs. And I'll let you know when I get into it and let the battery run all the way down and recharge it, how it's done. But for me, the simple fact I save myself $100 is huge, really, really huge. And again, Wasabi was the company. And you guys notice, those of you who are watching, I've got a little hand grip too. On these smaller camcorders these days, the shoe they have on them is really, really tiny. And the shoe doesn't work real well from using some of the better lights and so forth. And you guys know I have a wireless rig. So I did some searching around, and I'll have a link up to this in the show notes as well. But the company I found, and this was, crazy cheap. I actually got this at B&H, but I found later that they were on Amazon. Was a nice little handhold device. It's got two regular shoes, and it's from a company called Velo, Vell, and it's the model CB510. I'll put a link up in the show notes, probably my Amazon link to it. I think I paid $17 for this bracket. And it's perfect. It balances nice. You can set the shoe wherever you want from a position standpoint. And plus on the bottom, it's got the place where you can actually still mount it to the tripod. Now, I'd rather have a little bigger adapter here, but wasn't able to find this model with the larger screw size, because I've got some of the nice professional tripods. But anyway, very, very slick, very nice, very pleased. And for $17, you can't beat it. Sometimes you'll find this stuff online and be $60, $70, $80 for just this little bracket. But this was probably the best deal that I picked up in a long, long, long time. So I just wanted to share with you a couple of finds that I made over the past couple of weeks. And as I find these kinds of good deals, I want to share it with you. But if you've got, Canon cameras or any type of Canon any type of camera, and you want an extended battery, really do the review of, going on the websites, try to find third-party reviews that talk about them to make sure that the battery's going to be good. And then only order one, or in my case, I ordered two because I felt pretty confident that the batteries would be fine. Plus, it's got the return policy. But so far, very pleased. I'll let you know as the battery test goes on over the next couple of days. All right, let's go ahead and get into the full line of tech stuff here, because I know you're waiting for that. Let's see here. Let me open this browser. All right, there's an interesting website that popped and went live today. And let me bring this up for you guys so you guys can see it. It's called the Global Government Surveillance Reform Site, and it's actually, at this time, does not resolve to a domain name. It resolves to an IP. And basically it says the gist of this website says the underside companies believe that it is time for the world's governments to address the practices and laws regulating government surveillance of individuals and access to their information. While the undersigned companies understand that governments need to take action to protect their citizens' safety and security, we strongly believe that current laws and practices need to be reformed, consistent with established global norms of free expression and privacy, and with the goals of ensuring that government law enforcement and intelligence efforts are rule-bound, narrowly tailored, transparent, and subject to oversight. We hereby call on the governments to endorse the following principles and enact reforms that would put these principles into action. Now, the undersigned is AOL, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Microsoft, and Yahoo. So here's the principles. Number 1, limiting government's authority to collect users' information. Number 2, oversight and accountability. Number 3, transparency about government demands. Number 4, respecting the free flow of information. Number 5, avoid conflicts among governments. So, if you look at the Voices for Reform, who signed this document? Tim Armstrong, Chairman and CEO of AOL. Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook. Larry Page, CEO of Google. Erica Rottenberg, General Counsel of LinkedIn. Brad Smith, General Counsel and Executive Vice President, Legal and Corporate Affairs, Microsoft. Dick Costello, CEO, Twitter. Marissa Mayer, CEO, Yahoo. So I didn't see Twitter's logo up there, but obviously Twitter signed the Voices for Reform. And they signed, Twitter was on this too, so they just didn't show their logo there it is, duh. But then they sent an open letter to Washington as well. And so they're getting kind of serious about really kind of asking at least the United States government to adhere to this stuff. Now, whether or not this will happen, I don't know. But when you have Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, LinkedIn, AOL, and Twitter, who are notably probably the, if you look at their net worth combined, one company absent here is Apple. But if you look at that's why is Apple missing from that? But anyway, you look at their net worth combined, it's many, many billions of dollars, maybe even trillions, or a trillion or more. So absolutely incredible here that these companies have basically come out and basically say, hey, it's time for a change. And they're probably sick of the requests that are being put upon their companies. So we'll see where this leads, but this is at website 97.74.205.113, 97.74.205.113. So I'll have the IP link up in the show notes for you to review. Every year, let me just back up a little bit. When I was in high school, one thing that I did, I wasn't the honor grad student. I wasn't for a better word, taking honors classes. I was that guy in high school that took all the basic classes I had to take. I lived in a country, that was a agriculture-based community, and there really wasn't a lot of tech. But I was a techie at heart from very early days. And the VOTEC school in our community had available all the typical VOTEC type applications. Had welding, had car repair, had cosmetology, had a variety of those types of just general, regular, everyday type of jobs that many Americans have today. And one of the VOTEC offerings was electronics. And so I signed up to go to VOTEC school, both my junior and senior year. And it really, that 2 years of VOTEC got me through, from an electrical standpoint. I was very competent, starting right at base blocks with DC, with AC, with current, with transistors, with resistors, capacitors, all the stuff that really back in the 1980s, early 1980s, was used to basically build TVs. modern day TVs, including even being able to repair on older TVs that were still tube driven at the time. And there wasn't a lot of those at that point because the transition was happening. So I came out of Votech school probably qualified to be a television repairman. Now, that I think about that now and I laugh, but I already had a plan. I knew that I was going to be going in the Navy. I knew that electronics was going to be my background. So when I walked into my electronics school with the Navy, the success I had was largely because I had already had 2 years of electronics background. So for me, the first 3 or 4 months of my Navy, what they call A school, or BEE or whatever the classes I was going in, basic electronics, was a cakewalk. And I flew through that and then moved into microprocessors and all the stuff that the Navy needed to teach me about radar and radios and electronic warfare and all the stuff that really I built my career around. Had that foundation in Votech. And when, of course, then I went on and had a very successful Navy career, did lots of cool stuff, got to work on lots of cool gear, got to see stuff that still can't talk about today. But long story short, that Votech was a great set me up for the future. There's a survey that has just went out. It says if you want an IT job, you're going to need more than a degree, says top tech firms. It says a degree is not enough to help youngsters drag themselves off the dole queue and into a plum tech job, according to a survey of IT bigwigs. The employment site CW Jobs asked 500 top tech titans what they were looking for in a new recruit. Some 60% agreed with the statement that degrees alone are not enough to help job seekers break into the IT industry. Instead, aspiring IT candidates were advised to take up vocational training courses, which were recommended by 76% of the people responded to the survey. Richard Knott, director of CW Jobs, said a shortfall in skilled professionals could have a big impact on Britain and America's future as key power within the technology sector. While degrees undoubtedly form a solid theoretical foundation for professionals, 64% of professionals working in the industry do not hold a degree themselves. And, I 20 years in the Navy working on some of the most absolutely advanced electronics known to man. And believe me, it was. And I didn't have an engineering degree. I had a school of hard knocks. And many people are in that same situation today. They don't have a degree, but some of your best electrical guys, electronics guys, basically started Votech. And they go on maybe later to get an engineering degree or whatever. But it's interesting that it doesn't surprise me that this was a survey results, but I think oftentimes what happens is, in the expectation, and maybe the expectation has changed, but at least when I went to high school, and again, it's a long time, folks. I graduated in 1983. So some of you that listen to the show weren't even born then. The expectation at that time was that the folks coming out of Votech typically were going to be laborers. They were going to be the guys that were working, fixing your cars, welding, which obviously, depending on type of welder, pays very well. People doing machinist work, and those are very good careers. But most stuff that came in Votech, whether it be carpentry or bricklaying, all those jobs, aka you need the muscle, hard labor type stuff, right? Now the IT stuff and the electronic stuff, obviously a little different, but I don't know if perception has changed today, and I think some people may poo-poo Votech. But if you have a son or daughter who you're watching as they progress through maybe their freshman and sophomore year, and you're thinking, okay, where's their interest lay? If there is a Votech school in your area and something that maybe you can shape them into, you might be setting them up for a very successful career. It doesn't mean that you go to Votech and you don't go to college. It means maybe you go to Votech, get some hands-on, and say, I need to go here to school to further what I'm already studying. It's kind of that kicking off thing. So I'm a big believer in vocational schools in a high school setting. Not too familiar with stuff post-high school or undergraduate type stuff. We all know that people get jobs as in summer jobs, coming in as a intern. But that whole space has changed as well, and the rules around interns and getting paid and everything else. But I think this is very, very telling, and I encourage you guys to check it out. But I think it's something going about. I'd love to hear you guys' story, your guys' experiences too, as a listening audience of what was your progression. Did you go straight from high school into college and then come out and fight to get a college job, or did you go what was your progression, and where do you see what gave you the most success? And some of you will have done traditionally, stayed in high school, done all the advanced classes, went to college, and then on to a very successful job. But I know the survey of this group and of this audience, and I know that we have some pretty high wage earners that listen to the show that start from what you would expect someone with a bachelor's degree and on. But I also know that we've got a lot of people that listen to the show that are, high school graduates, and they're working a great job somewhere. So we got both sides of the fence. So I'd love to hear you guys' progression and where you feel you went right or wrong when it comes to the tech sector, specifically for our tech listeners, or maybe even if you can relate it to the tech side. Love to hear from you. One thing that most guys do is when you go shopping with your spouse or your girlfriend, I used to trudge my butt along with the gals to the mall. Why? I just wanted to be punished, right? And sometimes when you're younger, you're going with the girlfriend maybe to impress her, or to, you got to break out your credit card and, spend a little money on her. Here's what you do. You don't want to get to the point where you're going to go crazy. And if you got a girlfriend that's going shopping, you just give her your credit card. Say, hey, honey, if you want to go shopping here, this is how much you can spend. And I guarantee she's going to have a lot better time with your card away from you than with you. Maybe not. I might be wrong. And if you're going to go shopping, it's whatever the strategy is. But this guy in China committed suicide. Now, this is seriously being fed up with. And this is a serious story. He committed suicide in a mall after a girlfriend refuses to stop shopping. This happened in China. A man who was fed up with his girlfriend's incessant Christmas shopping responded to a request for one more look around a mall shoe store by leaping 7 floors to his death. You don't want to get, fellas, into a situation where you're like this guy who's had enough of the shopping experience. Many of us, shopping is a traumatizing experience. When we go in and get out, right? We don't hang out. We go to a specific spot, we get what we need, and we get out of the mall. At least most of us do. Sadly, this guy had enough and jumped over a railing. Maybe he forgot where he was, but he had an emotional breakdown and he died. So, ladies, if your fella's getting, and I don't want to make light of this, you feel sorry for this guy. It's happening again in China. But if your fella's getting stressed out, send him the car, send him to the bar. But it's a tragic incident, and it can be stressful. So, ladies, again, send him to the bar or the car. Let him go watch a football game or whatever. Just take his credit card and go shop, okay? I just tell him go. And sending my daughter to the mall with my credit card this year was the smartest thing I ever did. I gave her a limit. So this is how much you can spend, and not a penny more. And she took it right close to the limit. But she came home, gave me the credit card. She had her stuff. She's happy. Dad's happy. I didn't have to go to the mall. It's perfect. Perfect. And that's the first time I've ever done that with her. Give her the card to just go shop. Her and her brother went, and they both bought something together. All right. Give your Google Plus photos the holiday look with the twinkle and snow. So if you put a picture up with by By the way, I know it's cold for some of you. You're iced in. It's horrible weather conditions out there. 80. We don't have any trade winds, so humidity's up a little up. So I just had to share that with you tonight, just so you know. But if you are taking some pictures out there of the snow and ice that many of you are benefiting from right now, and you upload that to Google+, Google will gift you with a version that has snow that's actually falling or twinkling on the within the picture. So definitely check that out. And it's my right nostril. I'm being gross, and for those of you that are watching, you're like, give me a break. But this nose here, it's incessantly like wanting to run right now. And of course, I don't have a Kleenex in here like an idiot. And I normally have like a paper towel or something in here. Horrible. Oh man, I'm sorry. Just grossed everybody out. All right, Time Warner Cable is opening up, and they're including they're certainly open. Netflix is, let me start over. Time Warner Cable is open to including Netflix on its set-top boxes. Now, I've got a seatbelt holding me in the chair, because if someone had just said that to me, I'd have thought, is it April Fool's? Because there's no way that Time Warner Cable would consider opening up and allowing Netflix on its set-top boxes. But that's exactly what the CEO of Netflix said. He says his company has opened the possibility of adding Netflix to its set-top boxes. Holy cow. This is huge. Because less than 5 years ago, I was at a conference and asked what it would take to get on a set-top box, and basically Time Warner Cable set-top box, and they basically told me it would be a cold day in you-know-where before I would ever get a channel like Netflix into a set-top box. Well, somewhere that cold weather that's on the East Coast and throughout the United States, it must have found a vent hole and is going down and cooling off the inner workings of hell. Wow. This is very, very interesting move, and time will tell. I'm sure it isn't going to come without ring-a-ding-a-ling cash, but this is pretty big, as reported by the folks over at The Verge. Now, another, oh my goodness, can't believe it. Am I surprised? No. But it's being rumored that Microsoft, hold on to your chairs, may finally bring back the full start menu to Windows 8.2. Paul Thurrott, has been on our new media show before, says that Microsoft will finally be bringing back the start menu to Windows 8.2 desktop mode. Unlike the current start button that Microsoft added to 8.1, the new start menu will be much more like the one users have known and loved since Windows 95. They just got to quit fighting it. They can't win this one. 4K TVs. Want one? Well, apparently we're going to be bombarded by it at CES. At CES, Sony will be all about 4K. What happened to 3D TV? So if we're going to go 4K, see, 4K cameras cost a lot. And guess what Sony sells? 4K cameras. So I guess 4K is going to be the meme at CES. I hope not. But I guess it'll be 3D TV or all over again. Next article up is an interesting article. And let me talk a little bit about when I was in college. You guys know that I got my degree a couple of years ago and was quite pleased to be done. I got my degree from Emory-Riddle in professional aeronautics with a minor in business management. And a couple of my last classes that I took were algebra, trig, some heavy math classes. Excuse me. And I had a heck of a time. Been away from math for 30 years for real heavy math. So there was a lot of great tools online that I was able to use to help me along. Finding ways to do the problem, sometimes outright giving me the answer. It didn't really help me for tests. I still had to know the process, right? It's just like one thing builds upon another in any math that you do. But and I'm not going to announce the company's name over the show. The link will be to the article up in the show notes. But there's a one-stop shop for cheating available on the iPhone. This company crowdsources the correct answers to questions in hundreds of popular high school textbooks from students themselves, making the experience of collaborating all but frictionless. Are we going to have a bunch of educated idiots? Because we all know that you can go and do Google searches and you can find answers, and there's tuition assistance type of services out there, and I use those many times as well, paid for online tuition help. But here's the deal here. Students now can see homework answers out of most of the popular textbooks out there. And some folks are guaranteed an A on their homework. I wonder if this is why in my daughter's math class, homework is worth 0 on their grade. They get if they don't turn any credit in, the teacher don't care. It's all about the test. So I wonder if the teacher knows that the kids are going out to these websites and just getting the answers and punting them down in the homework, and that's why he makes homework worth nothing. But this site has an iPhone app, and I guess it's being used a lot. It used to be they used to write crib notes. They used to put stuff on your hand. They put stuff down on your sock. Now all they do is got to have the phone on the desk, right? And even I got my kids are taking heavy math classes right now. And I have some software loaded on this PC that will answer many of the questions that they have. And oftentimes what they'll ask me is, Dad, can you give me some help? And I have the application buried in a subfolder. You won't even know it because I don't want them going on this machine. And if I can't answer it, I'll load it up and I'll punch it in and get the answer printed out, and we'll go out and look at it together. But I want them to be able to do the work. So sometimes they just need a little kick, or sometimes I'll reword the question, give them the same exact type of equation, but just change the variables out. And that way they at least they'll have to do their homework questions, and I'm kind of hardcore on that. And I know there's stuff available online, but I'm real, the computers stay in the living room. So it's not like if they're on, they can't use them. Now, Hawaii has this great system where K through 12 can actually call in to Hawaii HPU, and they have college students available to help with homework all the way from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day of the week. You just log in, and it's an online session. You talk about a problem, and they have a little workboard there. They can work things through. It's really slick, so I like them using that. Sometimes they can get answers that way. But just this one-stop cheating app that has just all the answers bothers me a little bit. And pay attention, okay, parents, what your kids are loading on their mobile devices. All right, moving on here. 4chan basically caused a bunch of Xbox One owners to brick their machines because they put out a backwards compatibility prank, and the backwards compatibility prank didn't work out so well and bricked a bunch of machines. So don't believe, and Microsoft again is saying, by default, Xbox 360's backwards compatibility is disabled on Xbox. So be aware of that. It's disabled. The folks at Microsoft, to be clear, there's no way to make your Xbox One's backward compatible, and performing steps to attempt this could and will make your console inoperable. So be aware, be aware. Did you know there's a federal agency out there that still uses floppy disk? Every day, the Federal Register. I mean, you guys, the Federal Register is pretty important, which is the daily journal of the United States government, publishes on its websites in a thick booklet around 100 executive orders, proclamations, proposed rule changes, and other government notices that federal agencies are mandated to submit for public inspection. It turns out, however, that the Federal Register employees who take in the information or publication from across the government still receive some of its on the 3.5-inch plastic storage squares that become all but obsolete in the United States. Why am I not surprised? Have you tried to buy a 3.5-inch floppy lately? Well, next time you go to a store, look for one. Good luck. You may find them in like a Fry's or some specialty places. I've even seen them in Walmart from time to time. But generally, 3.5-inch discs are not sold anymore. There's very few machines that even have a 3.5-inch drive. But good old U.S. government machines do. I guess that's really getting their money's worth out of it. So, wow. That's pretty wild. There's a good article over on Wired talking about how do you pick something up on the moon in a spacesuit. And they've got a very comical video to show along with it. So if you're into a very cool science project, into doing some cool math yourself, I have a link up in the show notes for their .physics article. Along with that, the spacecraft IRIS is providing unprecedented images of the sun. Scientists are getting some stuff they have never, ever seen before. And so they're pretty excited about some of the science coming out of the off of this particular spacecraft. And this is over at sci.org, and shows one of the pictures that the IRIS is providing. And really what they're looking at is the area between the surface and basically the outer layer of the sun, which is pretty cool. Had to take a shot of water here. So a pretty cool article goes into the science of what they're getting. The president is saying everyone should learn how to hack. The president today kicked off the Computer Science Education Week with a simple message. Don't just play on your phone, program it. He says learning these skills isn't just important for your future, it's important for our country. The president said in a YouTube video, if we want America to stay on the cutting edge, we need young Americans like you to master the tools and technology that will change the way we do just about everything. And I would say that there's probably a pretty bright future in programming, and there's a lot of initiatives going on right now to really promote that. So it's never too late to start writing code and get involved. All right, next up, have you heard about iDrive? iDrive Express. It's a service for those of you that are on less than optimal bandwidth connections. If you want to have your backup in the cloud, iDrive can provide you a portable drive that you load up and then send to them, and then they make those files available to you in the cloud. And it's a $99. How much does it cost? If you're waiting for does it tell how much the actual drive cost? Don't think there's a cost to get the drive, but there is a cost for the service. So I'll have the link up in the show notes for you to look at. But this is a good way for those of you that are having challenges in getting your data backed up to the cloud. Just use iDrive. All right, over on Extreme Tech, the most beautiful snowflake photos you will ever see was captured with a cheap do-it-yourself camera. And I think you will agree. And let me see if I can blow one of these up a little bigger. pretty incredible picture. And what they used was, and let me leave this up for a minute here, was captured with using a 6-year-old point-and-shoot Canon camera and a standard 58 millimeter SLR lens. It was produced in the USSR somewhere between 1958 and 1992. Basically, they flipped the lens they flipped the optical lens, and instead of so basically they had a big magnifier. So very, very cool, taking a small object and making it big. Very, very cool. A whole number of cool pictures that we're taking. And they've got about 5 different pages of these. So I'll let you go through and take a peek. But very, very cool do-it-yourself, and the do-it-yourself page is available for you to review. Hey, as a reminder, our crowdfunding campaign continues, and bit.ly TPN crowd, bit.ly /TPN crowd. Also want to remind you guys that we're working with Dropcam this month, and Dropcam, I'm really excited about some of the features of the Dropcam HD camera. One of the things that you can do is you can actually turn on the speaker and the microphone and actually have a little conversation. You can basically zoom the camera if you need to in a specific part of the room within the actual viewing area. It's got the DVR feature. It's really, really slick. And we've got a great offer for you. All you got to do is go over to Dropcam and order a camera. Visit bit.ly /TPN drop, bit.ly /TPN drop, or click on the banner on the website. This will get you connected with our Dropcam deal, and Dropcam is going to be with us at least through the end of the month. So we hope that you consider picking up a camera. We got our studio cam that's running right now here in the studio. And let me see if I can bring this up on for those of you that are actually watching. One thing I did here over the weekend, and you guys, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Let me see if I can. But the cabinet behind me needed serious reorganizing, cleaning, and I was able to do that. Let's see here. Oh, that's weird. Why are you showing up? All right, that's fine. And let me bring this over and turn the camera stream on. Boy, it's taking... Okay. So, a little bit of change in the... Of course, you guys see the stuff stacked up normally that you can't see. But the camera's running. And, of course, I'm pushing a lot of bandwidth at the moment. So let me shut this off so I don't crash the YouTube stream. But this thing is up, running DVR 24/7. And even when I take it off public, it's still running and recording to the DVR. So I'm able to basically have a good security camera. So bit.ly /TPN drop is the website to go to. All right, next up, the new Ford Mustang reportedly may have an electronic burnout button. Ford has decided to take the burnout to 21st century in the 2015 Mustang. And I thought about this when I was driving a 2014 in Tucson, but the Mustang's new electronic burnout system intended to enable the perfect burnout every time, much like launch control has made it easier to accelerate from a quick stop. So think of every new Mustang with a bright red burnout button. While the details on how the burnout control system will work remain secret, it's possible the combination of the features used in a typical launch control system, including traction, rev limiting controls, together with a front brake locking system, could enable Ford to put together existing technology in a completely new way. So far, Ford has no comment, as I would expect. One of our old sponsors here, Citrix GoToMeeting, has added new pricing capacity options, and I think this is way overdue. They have heavy competition in the online meeting space right now. Citrix has started shipping a slimmed-down version of its GoToMeeting online meeting and video conferencing product. It's been in beta testing since September. It's called GoToMeeting Essentials. Allows from one presenter and 5 attendees in a session and costs $19 a month or $182 per year. By contrast, the standard GoToMeeting product costs $49 per month or $468 a year. meetings can record and have one presenter and up to 25 presenters. What is that? I'm having a deep, 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 deep. It's like an alarm's going off, but I never heard that before. My kids must be doing something. Okay. Oh, I bet I know what that is. Google Glass. Google Glass may soon be banned for drivers in Illinois, and that could spell trouble for Google, because Google, has got routing features in Google Glass, and so we'll see if that happens. But we could see basically Google Glass being banned in Illinois. All right, next up tonight in my stack of stuff here, Google's barge is on a hiatus amid scrutiny from two agencies. So all the attention hasn't done them any good. So I guess they're being talked to by two different government agencies. So we'll see where this leads over time. Google employee shuttle bus was blocked in San Francisco. Basically, this commuter bus was blocked in the Mission District for about a half hour Monday morning. There was a protest going on. San Francisco not for sale and stop evictions now. Basically, people were protesting the 10% increase over the past year of rent in San Francisco. And people are not happy with what's going on. And, all the stuff going on in Silicon Valley is causing rent prices to increase. The average two-bedroom house now rents for $3,500 a month in San Francisco. Sounds like a good old Hawaii nay. All right, let me move on here. Dun, dun, dun. Got a lot of stuff. I'm probably not going to make it. Oh, you'll be pleased to know that a judge has ruled that chimps, yes, chimpanzees, cannot be legal persons, but activists vow to fight on. Can a chimpanzee be considered a legal person? Not for now, a judge has ruled. Amazing. Really amazing. All right, anyway. I think that ruling will stand for a while. The creators of The Matrix returned to sci-fi in this trailer for Jupiter Ascending. And I can't play this for legal reasons, but I want you guys to come over and look at this Jupiter Ascending trailer. If you're a Matrix fan or Cloud Atlas, you're definitely going to want to see this movie. It should be good, and I look forward to coming out and watch the trailer. I was like, ooh, this is going to be a good one. Hey, Square has revealed a thinner and more accurate mobile credit card reader. I carry a Square credit card processor with me everywhere I go, and you'll be amazed the number of times it's come in handy to be able to process someone's credit card on the spot, either for a service or something I was selling. Works out real well when doing stuff on Craigslist. Someone comes over and they want to write me a check. I'm like, hey, I can process your credit card. And it works out really, really well. So nice new thinner car reader. So very, very cool. There's a cool space telescope that tracks wayward satellites. And this is basically a satellite that's owned by the U.S. Navy, which is going to be sent to Australia, run by the by the Australian government. Kind of a weird combination, but they're going to be put it in Exmouth, Australia, and I probably just destroyed that for our Down Under listeners. Forgive me, but that's where it's going to head. But this new telescope tracks the satellites in orbit, and it's going to be put down in Australia to have a look at that part of the sky. So very, very, very cool. Yeah, the link will be up in the show notes. Let's see here. We already talked about that. It's being rumored that Marissa Meyer's next big acquisition could be Imager, the photo sharing site that Reddit users love. So we'll see where this leads. Imager may be in the crosshairs of Yahoo. Those of you that are Pandora fans, well, I've always wondered why this was not a feature. Pandora's added an alarm feature to its iOS app, lets you trade clock radio buzzing for basically some music. And this is going to be very, very cool. Very, 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 very cool. This Pandora updated app is going to be able to wake you up in the morning instead of So that was the missing link there. I think that was a smart move from the Pandora folks. Curiosity, out on Mars, has discovered a giant lake once suitable for life on Mars. So this newly discovered lake would have been full of water some 3.6 billion years ago. It's also full of all the chemical signatures for life, like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur. The findings are detailed in 6 papers in the latest edition of Science, one of which suggests that life could have been, I'm not even going to try that. Could be. We have critters living in thermal vents deep beneath the ocean surface. So we'll see on that. Probably not in my lifetime, but anyway, Curiosity is doing great science. For those of you that didn't have a winter emergency kit and you're stuck because of the weather, I'm going to have a link up in the show notes for you to create your own weather emergency kit, things you should have available at all times. Some great ideas here. And probably some of you that have been shoveling snow wish you had some salt to salt sidewalks with, too. Google Glass has got an unofficial WordPress support, and I'm really excited about this. The PR firm Weber Shandwick has released an unofficial plugin for the eyewear that allows owners to publish content to any WordPress hosted blog with simple verbal commands. I'm going to be trying this out. I haven't loaded it yet, but this should be really cool to play with. May set up a website that just basically takes pictures from Google Glass, subdomain. And we're going to be doing some stuff with Geek News Central here soon that I'm really excited about. Can't share exactly what we're doing, but there are changes coming to GNC that's going to make the site, I guess for a better word, better organized. And I'm really excited about it. And my nose is going absolutely crazy at this point. People on video are absolutely grossed out at this point. I know that. Oh, man. Foursquare. Have you been playing with Foursquare lately? Well, apparently, the latest update has really gotten smarter. And if you haven't visited Foursquare or used Foursquare in a while, you may want to give it a try. It's giving push notifications to you, informing you of different things as you're moving around. But it's not doing it in such an obtrusive way it becomes annoying. But definitely check out the updated Foursquare app. I'll have a link up in the show notes about what they've done and the genius behind how they were able to preserve battery life, because you don't have to be on GPS all the time anymore. Microsoft now is, and Microsoft accounts are now letting you flag suspicious activity before it's a problem. They've made it so that you can see activity on your account. And it's going to let you look at where, when, how your account was accessed, basically via a activity page. And I have a link up here for you. So it actually shows the IP address, the device, the browser app, exactly what time, and a general IP of where it was. So they're doing some logging there, which is smart. U.S. police departments blew through more than $26 million buying 1.1 million cell phone files from the telcos. So I guess the police departments are having to pay AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon for these reports when they get stuff via a warrant. On December 9th, you know what happened December 9th, 1968? Well, it's the mouse that roared and launched a PC revolution. And basically, SRI's Douglas Engelbart ushered in the personal computing revolution with his now famous demonstration of the world-famous mouse. And pretty smart design for back in the day. And so very, very cool. 45 years ago, the mouse was introduced. If you think about that, we've come a long way. We've come a long way in 45 years. You hear about NSA using Warcraft and Second Life. They were out hanging out looking for terrorists in the online gaming community. Boy, some people would like to be paid to have that job, right? Also, there's a great tutorial if you bought a new Mac recently, or maybe you're gonna get one for Christmas. There's a great article how to transfer large amounts of data between Macs instead of just using the Wi-Fi connection. There's some good suggestions here. I'll have the link up in the show notes for you. And finally, if you thought it was cold where you're at right now, NASA has found the coldest place on Earth. And if you're watching the show, you're looking at Valkyrie Dome, AAK Dome Fuji, on the East Antarctica Plateau. Near these dark structures, there's a ridge with hollows that can get down to minus 133.6 degrees Fahrenheit, or minus 92 degrees Celsius. Oh my goodness. Very, very, very cold. That's not any place for me. I'm very happy to be at about a 210 degrees difference in temperature right now. Minus 133. That's just insane. All right, let me go ahead into the show comments because we did have a few that came in. This is great news. And I got this from Nancy, one of our listeners here. Cisco has bought everyone a license for H.264, the world's most despised codec. So this was big. Cisco bought everyone a license, developers, everyone. So there's no worry at this point for developers and stuff to develop to embed the codec in their apps. This is going to make this is going to be huge for Firefox. They're going to be able to do this natively now. It's very, very big. And Nancy, thanks for sending this over to me. I forwarded this to our developer, Angelo. He's like, oh, this is great news. And I agree. Probably the biggest news out of the video space in a while. Got an email from one of our listeners, Dick Curtis. He said, hey, Todd, love the Geek News Central podcast. He says, Sensorly, Sensorly, has apps for your phone that show coverage maps and speed tests for many carriers. Really handy to see if a given carrier has coverage and acceptable data speeds for areas that you frequent. Very, very cool. And I think that's it. I think that's all we had for emails. Don't forget, you can email me here. Real simple. geeknews@gmail.com is the email address. I apologize profusely for having the sniffles on you tonight. For those of you watching the show, I hope you're not completely grossed out because this nostril didn't want to stop. It's been fine all day. Start to doing the show, it's like cuts loose. Something probably to do with me getting excited and warmed up or whatever. Who knows? But thanks for bearing with. And as always, feel free to drop me a line. Again, geeknews@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter @geeknews. Again, don't forget about our crowdfunding situation going on for CES, TPN, bit.ly/TPN crowd. You'll find that in the show notes, link there. 7 days left on the crowdfunding effort. Get yourself a t-shirt by being one of our contributors. And we're going to be introducing something very, very cool during CES. It's a new crowdfunding type of service that I think that you're going to be excited about. We'll be talking about this specific company. They're going to come on and support us a little bit for the show. But again, don't forget about our drop cam offer. And of course, thanks again for GoDaddy for being a sponsor here as well. Until next time, everyone, take care. We'll see ya. Aloha. Stream will be coming down in a minute.